I think I'm getting there.
I feel like yes.
Gradually.
I feel like you are coachable and a quick study.
Yeah. I think that's what kept me in the league for a long time is I'm kind of coachable. I'm not the guy that's going to go back and forth with you and question you. Why are we doing it this way? It's, hey. I mean, sometimes. If it don't make sense, I'll ask.
How has that changed in the league? Because I feel I feel like I'm old school, and I feel like you just did what your coaches told you to do. I don't know that it is approached the same way these days.
Well, guys are making way too much money now, so so now it's like, Coach, you don't know what the heck you're talking about. They paid me all the money. No, I think, but see, I'm a big proponent of just in general in life of like being up for advice and learning from experience, learning from other people. So coaches have seen the game from a different perspective, so you should always be able to listen to them. But coaches also have to be willing to listen to their players too, right? So I think when I was playing at my best is when it was a understanding between both the coach and myself that we want the same for both of us. Yep. Like I want to have success. My success is good for you and vice versa. But like, don't put me in positions that won't allow me to have success either, right? So like being able to have that dialogue as a veteran player is a lot easier than having a dialogue as a young player.
Who was the coach that got the most out of you?
I would say my coach, Chris Kasurek. He's the coach for he's the D-line coach for the 49ers right now, actually. I know we don't want to talk about the 49ers.
We don't talk about we can say hi to KJ, but we don't
talk
about the
we don't want to talk about them. But my coach, Chris Kasurek, was there in Detroit with me. He was a young coach. He believed in me early on in my career. And to be honest with you, he's the guy that taught me how to be a professional defensive end and go get quarterbacks and all that good stuff. So he was the coach that, even to this day, when we see each other, we both tell each other, like, man, we appreciate each other for the success that, we both had from the learnings and the coaching.
Detroit was tough, though.
Ooh, who you telling? Yes, it was.
Well, I don't know that everybody watching knows.
Yeah, so Detroit was tough for sure. I mean, they're not the Detroit that we're seeing right now, that's for sure.
That's exactly right. It's why folks in Detroit are super grateful for what's happening right now.
I'm happy for them, to be honest with you. As a player, we don't realize what football really means to the community. Because most times than not, we're not from the community that we're playing from or playing in. Most times than not, once the off season rolls around, we're leaving. Right. So we're never really entrenched into the community like that. But being a retired player, seeing what the Super Bowl meant to the city of Seattle, like I'm extremely excited and happy to see the Lions doing their thing and potentially be able to make a run in the playoffs because that city deserves it. Like Detroit is an awesome, awesome city as well as Seattle, of course. But they deserve it. They deserve it. They've been down for so long. All right, this one shrimp ain't cooperating. But they've been down for so long. I think it'd be good for them to get an opportunity. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. But I'm excited to see what they're gonna do and seeing the run that they're gonna have. And on top of that, what's crazy is Dan Campbell actually was my teammate in Detroit.
He was?
Yeah, he was later in his career, but it was my rookie year, the infamous rookie year of being 0-16.
Yeah.
He was on that team as well, and then I think he went being a coach after that.
Yeah. Not
too long after. So, but yeah, my Detroit years were interesting. Not a lot of winning. I think in 5 years. We went 0-16 my rookie year, won 2 games my second year, won 4 games my third year, won 10 games my fourth year, and then won 6 games. So that's a total of 20 games in 5 years. Yeah. It wasn't winning culture, needless to say.
But what do you take away from that experience?
It's everything. It was everything for me, honestly. Like being able to win the Super Bowl, I feel like meant so much more to me than say some of the other guys, not saying it wasn't special to any of the guys like Richard and Cam and all those guys, because they've been winning.
Yeah.
You go 0-16 and then 6 years later you're in the Super Bowl. I mean, most guys that was on that 0-16 team wasn't in the NFL 2 years later.
Yeah.
So for me to be able to continue keep working hard, continue keep trying to make a name for myself, and then some years later, not just in the Super Bowl, not just winning the Super Bowl, but playing a big role in it, but also being a part of like arguably one of the best defenses ever, right? So like to be a part of something like that after how my career started as a team, collectively as a team, No, it was a blessing. So to be able to go through that journey, I think it made me appreciate the journey. To be able to go through that made me appreciate the journey, and also honestly, it's a testament of how like I live my life now, in the sense of like it's not about how it starts. You know, you just got to continue, keep putting your head down, good or bad. Put your head down and keep grinding, and you know things will work itself out.
So when you get to Seattle, after experiencing not a lot of winning in Detroit, was it hard to fit in?
Ooh, that's a great question. Yes. So it's funny because I'm coming from Detroit. I'm a franchise player coming from Detroit, just coming off my franchise year. And I come into this locker room and like I'm kind of the old guy, but I'm only year 6, right? Like Richard and all those guys are a little bit younger than me. It's kind of weird calling him Richard, by the way. I call him Sherm. But Sherm and all those guys are younger than me, but like they were great players.
Yeah.
You know, they are all great players figuring it out. So yeah, I come into the locker room, and as an athlete, you want to show your presence. You want to show why you deserve to be a part of this defense. You know, so the winning piece wasn't the hard part. It was like figuring out what was I going to do to stick out on this defense. What was I going to do to like make my presence felt on this defense? And I was already kind of good at the sack fumble before I got to Seattle, but like I was like, you know what, I'm going to continue.
That's going to be my thing.
That's going to be my thing. That's how I'm going to contribute, because you know we had those turnover Thursday days, right? As a D lineman, you're not catching interceptions. You're not, you know what I mean? So, you know, sack fumbles. That was going to be my thing, and it became my thing even more here. So it was that. But trying to find your identity in a defense that's so great can be very difficult. To be honest with you,
there was a lot of alpha males on that team too.
No doubt. I mean, great players doing great things, but with all the alpha males too, that's what allowed us to be so great, is because we were competing with one another too, and nobody wanted to be the weakest link. Nobody wanted to be the weakest link, and that was huge for us.
You mentioned earlier that it wasn't hard to stop playing football. The camaraderie is the hardest. Mm-hmm. But in the moment, was it hard to walk away from the game?
No, I would say not for me, because honestly, with the injury that I had, the neck injury, you know, one of the scariest parts was the night that it happened. The doctors kept asking me like for about an hour and a half, "Are you sure you're okay? Are you sure you're okay?" And I'm like, "Bro, like leave me alone. It's Monday night. Like I want to go play ball, you know."
Yeah.
And about after an hour or two into it, he was like, and the reason I keep asking you this is because most times, most people don't walk in with this injury; they're paralyzed. So I'm like, okay. So that's when it kind of hit me that it might be over with. But I looked at this as in like, if this would happen year 1 of my career, this would be so much crazier of a situation, right? This is year 10. Literally any and everything the NFL can offer me, I've been a part of. I've been a franchise player. I've won a Super Bowl. I've lost Super Bowl. I've been to the Pro Bowl. Like I've done a little bit of everything. So for me, it was just like a blessing, like in a sense of, hey, this could have happened year 1 and it'd be a different ball game. So I took it as, you know, I looked at it more of an optimistic role, in a sense of, again, you know, this could have been a different outcome 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just appreciate the moment of being able to have created what I created, and now it's on to the next thing.
But how long did it take to fully transition out of that and into your next thing?
So another blessing was that it happened week 4 of the season. And what I mean by that, what that allowed me to do is it allowed me to kind of get into the community and figure out what my next thing was going to be, right? So
you didn't know that it was going to be real estate then?
No.
You hadn't thought about that? Because there were so many of you guys that were planning next steps.
Exactly.
I thought maybe that was on the back burner for you.
So I had been doing classes and different things like that, but I wasn't sure if that's the avenue I wanted to go in completely. So I did the media thing. I had my own radio show. So I did the whole media run, and I was trying different things out, because, you know, as an athlete, one of the things people forget is, you know, you've been playing. At that point, I retired at 33. 18 years of my life, I had been playing football. Yeah. So just trying to figure out what else I'm passionate about that can kind of give me that same feel. You have to try things out.
Is it hard to think of something being better than football? Like, I work in sports and I love sports and I love being on the sideline.
Yeah.
And I know there's other things to explore, but it's kind of hard to think about, is there something better than this?
That's the hard part, because there's nothing that's going to ever match being able to go out there and compete at such a high level. But you can get you just have to find something else that you're passionate about that will give you the same drive to get up every day. Purpose, basically, right? Get up every day and go try to conquer something. And why I like real estate is it allows me to compete with myself in a sense,
Yep.
right? Like showing that I can do this, but then also it allows me to honestly be able to still spend time with my kids and run behind them on weekends and different things like that. But I'm a competitive person by nature, so I had to find something that would allow me to at least just compete with myself, and that's what real estate kind of allows me to do.
How far does your competition go? I've had this conversation with other athletes. I will tell you how competitive I am at random things. Like I'm talking random things.
No, I'm super competitive. I don't like losing. I don't like losing to my kids. I refuse. Like we could be going up the stairs, and I'm going to try to beat you up the stairs. Like,
do they know that you're trying to beat them up the stairs?
They know it. They know it. But see, the scary part with that is like my kids are getting older now, so now they're getting more competitive, but also getting quicker and faster.
Right.
So I only have maybe another 3 to 4 years of like, okay, guys, y'all got it. You know, like I'm an old man now.
Yeah, but how are you going to message that? Because you're not going to say I'm an old man.
I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say I quit or anything like that. Like no, I'm not because
you're just not going to ever walk up the stairs with them ever again.
Exactly. Because like because one of my things in my household is like we don't quit. Like if we start a sport, we do not quit. We're going to compete. All these different things, and so the whole notion of not quitting. My youngest son, because he doesn't remember me as a football player. He's just realizing like I was a football player probably in the last year or so, and he's like, Dad. So why'd you stop playing football? I'm like, I had a neck injury. I had to retire. He's like, so you quit? I was like, no. I didn't quit. Like I had a neck injury, and so it forced me to retire. He's like, but there's nothing wrong with your neck now. Yes. So he's like, why don't you go back out there? I'm like, that's not how this thing works.
Okay. We just need to work on that just a little bit.
Exactly.
I can understand his confusion on that. I know that you are still involved with your foundation.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the driving force to start that?
Foundation, big piece of it. So we started off Cliff Avril Family Foundation. A big piece of that was honestly my grandmother, and my dad. Before my dad passed, he always wanted me to do something in Haiti. Hence why we went to Haiti. We built schools. We have a health clinic out there, a mobile health clinic. We do a lot of different things from that perspective. But the core reason of starting the foundation started off with juvenile diabetes. In the Haitian community, diabetes is very prevalent, and my grandma had diabetes, my mother has it, my aunties have it. So I had just had my first child, so that's why I took it to the juvenile piece of it. So that's kind of where it all started, and then we've grown to doing a lot of different things. Like I said, doing work in Haiti, doing a lot of things in Jacksonville, a wide range of different things here in Seattle. In particular, one thing that I'm excited about that we do is the Cliffs Crew, which is a mentoring program. I have 9 boys that I've been mentoring since they were in 3rd grade, and now they're all in 9th and 10th grade. So watching their growth and watching them, kind of figure things out has been really cool. And it's all about exposing them to different opportunities, different things that are going on here in their own backyard, but more so than just being an athlete or entertainer. Yeah. Like you can be, even as an example, like take them to the VMAC. Every profession you can think of is in the VMAC, from lawyers to accountants to trainers, chefs, whatever, right? But like you don't know that unless you're in there. You don't know these other professions exist, and they're all Seahawkers. They're all people that when we go to the Super Bowl, guess what? They're a part of the Super Bowl team. So you can still be on a Super Bowl team and not necessarily be a player, but you don't know that unless you're exposed to it.
That's very cool.
Yes, ma'am. So it's been cool. I love pouring back into the youth as well. Obviously they're our future, and it's all about giving back to the community as well.
I'm going to let that yes ma'am slip.
I'm from the South.
I know. But as I used to tell KJ, I will punch you in the throat if you do not stop calling me ma'am.
I don't want no problems.
I know. But now I feel like we're like the same age.
Yeah,
we're not actually quite the same. I'm older. I know.
Anybody my age, or even honestly up until you're like 19, 20, I'm probably saying yes ma'am to you. Like that's just how I grew up. This is just who I am. It doesn't mean you're old, doesn't mean it. It's just a respect thing, that's all.
And who do you respect? You respect your elders.
I respect everybody. That's why I say it to any and everybody.
So a couple of career questions for you. What's the highlight you talk about most often from your career?
Ooh, what I said earlier, I think the highlight is it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Of course, the Super Bowl was a big deal to me. That would be the one thing that I would go to is like, okay, being able to win a Super Bowl and knowing other guys that played 14, 15 years, never been to the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl. I think that's a huge deal.
Favorite teammate you ever played with?
Ooh, got a lot of great teammates. So all you guys that are watching, don't take any offense to it, but I mean, most people would know it'd be Mike Bennett. That's like that's my brother. Like it doesn't. Blood couldn't make us any closer in the sense of how close we are. We traveled the world together. We're actually spending Christmas together. Our kids grew up together. Our kids look at each other as little cousins. So yeah, Mike B is my guy.
But when you met Mike B, were you instantly like, I'm gonna be his friend?
No. We I don't know if people remember this, but we actually got into a fight on the sideline in Atlanta our first year here, and and we got into it, got argued or whatever. Didn't talk. I'm the type of person if I don't rock with you, I don't need to speak to you. Like we're not talking. So I didn't talk to him the rest of the game, and then I get on the bus, and before Mike B's always like the last person on the bus. I get on the bus.
Yeah, because he would honk the horn.
Yeah,
Yes.
When he gets on the bus, we know it's time to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the bus, talk to my wife or whatever, and I'm still mad, like furious. Like if he says something to me, I might swing on him. Like it might go down. And he walks by me and he sits behind me. And I'm like, okay, well, he's behind me. He has a drop on me. If he wants to punch me, like, he can get me right
You
there.
just thought that might happen on the team bus?
I don't know. It was a real intense argument on the sideline. Then he taps me and he's like, hey, yo, now I got to go call my wife, tell her she can't be friends with your wife because you and I can't get it together. And ever since then, we've been the best of friends and it's been all love. That's my guy.
That's pretty awesome.
That's my guy.
That's pretty awesome.
I Cook, You Measure is presented by Safeway, who welcomes everyone at the table through the Nourishing Neighbors program. You can donate in stores or by visiting nourishingneighbors.com.